Welcome back. Now, Sri Lanka has been struggling with its worst economic crisis in over 7 decades. This has not only led to a shortage in essentials, but also the ouster of a president. To discuss how the country is planning to battle these challenges, we have with us Mr. Harin Fernando, Minister of Tourism of Sri Lanka, for an exclusive interaction. Thank you for your time. To begin with, where do talks with creditors and the IMF bailout package stand at the moment?
Well, I believe before the next year, we need to finish out all the negotiations with the debt restructuring and the payments for which the government is very keen and concerned to finish it as fast as possible. So I believe we are the right track. At the cabinet meetings, we've been speaking about it quite often, and looks like it's all being on track. And as I said, once again, why the president is in Japan is also on the debt restructuring program. So it's well and moving on. If you ask me for a timeline, I would say by end of December, everything should function. And we believe IMF bailout would start coming to Sri Lanka the early part of next year.
All right. India, China and Japan are key creditors really to Sri Lanka. What would be your message to them currently?
We will honor our commitment. That's number one. Sri Lankans will not shy away and be a bankrupt country. We have enough assets. I always say Sri Lankans are sitting on a treasure. It's just how you market yourself and get the right people and the productivity out. So Sri Lankans, as I said, is resilient. We will fight back and we will honor our commitments. And I'm made to believe by my president. He has all that planned, and I'm very close with his negotiation and negotiating teams. So I know how he has planned it out. So be confident Sri Lankans would not be bankrupt for more than another 6 months. We will come back up strongly. We have lots of people who have taken wing abroad for work. The foreign remittances is starting to coming in. Tourism is going to come in. So our country's economy or the revenue revolves around tourism, foreign employment and apparel exports. So all three of those sectors have been looked up and they're working on. That's 60% of our revenue in our country. So we're quite certain that we will come through. And also we are attracting the world with lots of visa changes. So anybody who comes to Sri Lanka, they can have a 5-year multiple visa for $250 where they can stay for 90 days at one go. And also we are on the negotiation of accepting Indian rupees, the rubles. So we're doing all of that. So hopefully we will have our work cut out, but I'm 100% sure by end of this year, we will be back to normal as we were.
Okay, surely a challenging time to be the tourism minister, Mr. Fernando. What are the key initiatives being taken to revive the economy at the moment? We've of course seen protests, we have seen visuals of food, electricity and diesel, petrol, a crisis there and a shortage there. How do you really convince people at this point then on visiting the country, and what really is the concrete plan?
If you ask me what are our plans, India is one of our plans. Because we believe India is right next to us. There are so many flights that operate from Sri Lanka to India and India to Sri Lanka. So we believe there's a lot that we can do with the Indian market alone, because right now our currency is also for 4.6 less. So for 1 Indian rupee, you get 4.6, and Sri Lanka is an ideal destination, not just for the beach, but the culture, the heritage, the Ramayana trail, the Rama and Sita's story goes back so million years ago, but it happened in Sri Lanka as well. There's so much of history up for grabs. Sigiri is one of the biggest locations at Sri Lanka. It's a UNESCO heritage site, and we have many things to offer, just not only the beach or the Colombo city. So one of our major markets we have identified is India. And I've been to Gujarat. We've done a Gujarat road show. I've been to Kerala, to ashram. We're trying to give them a land in Sri Lanka for them to build an ashram in Sri Lanka as well, so they can have programs continuously. Sri Lanka is a super wellness destination. So our focus is right now to make sure short-term Indians really get to know Sri Lanka. And from that onwards, I mean, we have our markets, which is the Germans, the Europeans, especially the French and the British are number 1 and 2, and India comes sometimes on top at 1 and or 2. So I believe we're concentrating on the European market, but also we are liking to move into a few other new destinations. Aeroflot is starting from Russia, 5 flights a week, 6 flights a week, and another airline from Russia is coming 5 flights a week. So that's 11 flights a week from Russia alone. So we're looking at we're believing with what we see. There are a lot of bookings are coming in, but we want to program Sri Lanka as a different product altogether because it has everything for everyone.
All right. Lastly, the political instability that one has witnessed and the outcry of protesters that all have seen in Sri Lanka. How would you answer concerns across the world at this point then?
I will start it off like this. I'm the first person who went to the President's Secretariat where you saw people storming in. We went there on March 15 with the campaign Go Home Gota that was started by us. But when we realized the country was falling apart, we had to change our mindsets of, when we won the protest, people also in Sri Lanka realized they need stability of the country. So right now, the president, there was no election because Sri Lankans cannot go for election at this moment because we needed to sort out our finances and get back on track. So therefore, 2.5 years in parliament time remains for President Ranil Wickremesinghe and for the government. So right now, even if you look at the numbers, we have 225 members in parliament. We clearly have a majority of about 130 in parliament. So things are looking okay and as positive as it can be when it comes to political stability. And people do understand that you do get odd protests on the road here and there, but that's more or less the opposition parties trying to keep the opposition momentum going. So therefore, they would always have a protest, 1 or 2, but it is not going to escalate to the situation that took place on the 9th of May or 9th of June. All in all, I would say things are falling back to place when it comes to political stability, and Sri Lankans and Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe also have given many opposition posts, many government posts to opposition members of parliament as well. We have put for a public finance committee an opposition MP who talks about the economy. So things people cannot, even in parliament, even in opposition, cannot really point a finger when the government have been asking them to join, and we wanted to have a joint government with all parties involved, but there are a couple of parties or the main opposition parties are not willing to join because it is their former leader who is the president, so they may feel a bit uncomfortable working with him. So it's purely become political, not about the country for the opposition. So I, being there as a deputy chairman of that party and the head of operations, I moved out from that post to help the president revive the country back because I think country is first.